Hello, welcome back to Book Chat. I'm Carl Helliker, and our guest is DARAVANN, the author of Salt Seeker. DARAVANN, obviously your family was not immune from the tragedies that were happening in Cambodia. How did you, who in your family, was suffered the most, was transferred, or?
Well, just a few months in, after they evacuated us from the city, the Khmer Rouge emptied the city and got everybody out of the city. And they said, you leave the city for 3 days and you will be allowed to return. We need to clean up the city. Clean up what? That's what my impression was. So when we got to the farm, a couple months later, the Khmer Rouge came to my hut, and then they informed my brother that because you are a former soldier under Lon Nol's government, you need to go to do some more military training. Okay? As a kid, wow, this is great. I thought my brother was going back to the city because it said 3 months and you will be allowed to return. And my brother asked them, well, what do I need to take with me? He said, nothing, just one shirt and one pants, just very little things to take with you because it's only 3 months you will be back. I think the moment they took my brother with the older brother, his name is Pada, and they took him along with 4 or 5 other soldiers, like pilots and stuff like that. And then as soon as they escorted them out of the village, they just gone. So we never know what happened to my brother.
Did you have a feeling immediately when he was taken that you would never see him again, or is this something that developed over time when he was supposed to come back and never did?
It developed over time because, I believe that was 3 months. So I start counting the days upon his return. But again, starting like 3 months and a half when he didn't come back, then I started to wonder what happened to my brother. And then as the months progressed, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and there was no answer. And then immediately after that, I think even my parents made the assumption that, something really horrific happened to my brother. And my guess was that those guys were executed immediately right after they got taken away from the village. So I lost the first one. It was my oldest brother. He left his wife, a 1-year-old daughter, and a pregnant wife when he's left.
And you lived with them too, didn't you? You left your parents and you lived with them, didn't you?
Well, it was not my choice.
No, I understand.
I just after they killed my brother, they tried to separate the people. So they separate the wives, the people who has some ties with the military. They wanted to group them together.
I see.
And then my sister had to go. She was, and by then, she delivered another daughter. So it's 2 of them, 2 daughters. And then my mom volunteered me. She said, you should go with her to help her taking care of the children. I said, how can I take care of the children? I'm 9. I can't even take care of myself. And you know that Prada is not coming back, right? So actually, I was forced to do the right thing, is to go with her. I didn't want to go. What if that time the Khmer decided to kill all of us? Then I would be gone, right, that time? Right. But again, that's why I refused to do it. But, you reflect, you think about it. I knew that if I didn't go, she will suffer, or they will suffer. Right. So I decided to go, okay? And of course, they didn't kill us. And then after that, I took care of these kids while their mom had to go to the field to work 8 to 12 hours a day. And a 9-year-old kid had to take care of a little baby and a 1-year-old niece. Yeah. So that was a very difficult time for me.
Yeah, you really had to grow up in a hurry, and a really remarkable part of your book, you describe these survival strategies that you developed. You knew what you had to do to survive, and I think it's pretty amazing for a young boy at 9 years old to figure these things out. How did that happen? Was it, how did you, what type of strategies did you learn to survive? Let me ask that.
Well, one thing that I like about my ability was the ability to adapt. I learned how to adapt to all these awful things. I learned to, basically, I like to observe. I observed everything that the people, the Khmer Rouge, did. Their children, in terms of, how do you work in the field? How do you plant rice? How do you pick berries? How do you know which vegetables you need to eat? Or what kind of bugs or what kind of stuff that you can eat? Because that way I can copy it from them when I need it. So I was always alert. And adaptation was just probably the best thing for me that came to me. Without it, I couldn't survive it. And another thing is that I never gave up hope to live. Every waking moment, while I was searching for something to eat, that hope still burning in my head, that you have that hope that someday somebody can come and save you. I don't know when, but in the meantime, let's deal with day-to-day living. So basically, living one day at a time. Now I knew that the Khmer Rouge will not kill the children. They were focusing on the educated one, the adults. They killed everybody. They killed professor, doctor, engineer. They killed architect. They killed a TV reporter. They killed singer. They just, all of those upper level people, they were to go first. So they didn't even have time to adapt, those people. But those who survived had to learn how to adapt and to adjust to their way of the new way of living for them to survive that time.
Do you know how many millions of people were killed? Do you know by the?
They estimate about 2
to 3
Some
million?
people say 3. Some people say 2. But I know there's a lot. I know a lot of people. Most of the people who will survive was the woman. More women ever in Cambodia in 1979, because most of their husbands were killed. So a lot of widows in Cambodia, and I lost oldest brother. I lost a sister. I lost a niece. That niece I was taking care of.
Right. Oh, right.
I lost 3 or 4 uncles. I lost my granddad. I lost another cousin. So it's 22 of us, and we lost about 7 or 8 of them when everything was over. So imagine that just one, like a couple of core families, and it lost like almost half of the people there.
It's incredible tragedy. DARAVANN, we need to take another break, but when we come back, we'll conclude our discussion of your fascinating and frightening book, Salt Seeker. I'm Carl Helliker, and you're watching Book Chat.
I heard about this company dumping toxins in local rivers, and I called their executives to say stop. But they were too busy counting profits while the rivers are being destroyed, birds and fish are dying, and the local kids are getting cancer. So I organized a huge protest, and we actually got the company shut down. But now half the town's unemployed, and the kids are twice as sick since they can't get health care, since their parents lost the insurance they had when they worked for the company who dumped all the toxins in the first place.
Yo, what's up, baby? Wanna learn some history?
Check it out. Your GED right here, guaranteed, man. Come on, check it
Hey,
out.
how you doing? Educational videos, top quality, right here.
I got live learning, beautiful books inside.
The National Center for Family Literacy.
Yo, I got your arithmetic right here.
Because you can't get your GED on the street. Call 1-877-FAM-LIT-1 for free learning programs like GED and family computer classes.
When is the high school diploma, huh?
The National Center for Family Literacy. The first step to a better life.
You wouldn't treat a crash test dummy like a child. So why treat a child like a crash test dummy? If they're under 4'9", they need a booster seat. Learn more at boosterseat.gov.